UFC 296 is coming up, and it got me thinking about Tony Ferguson, the company man that has been entertaining us with great fights, unorthodox training methods, and original one-liners.
Yeah, better luck running through hell with your underwear soaked in gasoline than to fuck with a guy like me.
For 12 years now, there are a number of people that are under the impression that Tony is cringy and awkward. He's just too out there. But if we were to compare him to, say, the Chinaman, who by many is also considered cringy, we notice one key difference. One of them thinks he's cool, and the other just is.
I'm a fucking turtle. Ninja Turtle. So which one's your favorite? I like Michelangelo.
I can relate to this.
When you argue with a fool, those who are watching can't tell who's who. Oh, there we go.
This, not so much. The guy was going to ankle pick Verdun.
What the fuck are you talking about? Shut up before I ankle pick you. Anyways.
Those are some brass balls right there. Tony has been a fixture of the UFC since 2011, when he won the 13th season of The Ultimate Fighter. From 2011 to 2019, Tony was 15-1 in the UFC, riding a 12-fight win streak at one point. There was a time when I thought he was unbeatable. Everyone he fought looked like they had just gone through a wood chipper. And he was cleaning house too. He beat Eve Edwards, Tebow, Barboza, RDA, Kevin Lee, Pettis, Cerrone. But as fun as it was to watch Tony fight, his style just isn't sustainable. After beating Kevin Lee in 2017, Tony won the lightweight interim belt. It wouldn't last long though, because an injury would lead to him getting stripped. In the meantime, Khabib would become the lightweight champion and proceeded to defend his new title. When Tony returned to action, instead of waiting around, he beat Pettis and Cerrone, and then got offered another title fight. Unfortunately, that fight fell through too, when Khabib was unable to leave Russia. True to form, Tony accepted another interim championship fight, this time against Justin Gaethje. Tony's inability to sit on the sidelines is a quality that fans love, but it can also be detrimental. After that fight, Tony was never the same, losing his next 6 in a row. Now 39 years old, Tony is about to be sacrificed on the altar in order for Paddy Pimblett to rise. But I like to think Tony's the type of guy that still has one left in him. Anytime there's an old guard on his way out, of course I'm going to root for that guy. It's like saying goodbye to an old friend. Now, as you have all noticed, everyone has been giving Ian Gary a hard time. It might be justified or it might not be, but let's not forget the things Paddy did, because he was well on his way of being one of the most annoying people in the UFC. Thing is, Gary showed up and kind of stole his thunder. Paddy got signed to the UFC in 2021 after a good run in Cage Rage with a record of 11-3, earning a reputation as a submission artist, even finishing one guy with a flying triangle choke. You thought I was gonna do it again, didn't you? The guy was in Cage Warriors, aight? Paddy has won all 4 fights in the UFC, and despite the bravado and the dopey haircut, Paddy was building a following. I actually remember his debut against Luigi Vendramini, where Paddy almost got sparked because the guy can't keep his hands up, and his damn chin is so high up in the air you can see that shit from orbit. Even Bisbin called out his performance.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. You almost got knocked out. You got caught with a beautiful left.
He did go on to submit Rodrigo Vargas and Jordan Levitt in impressive fashion, but when it was time to fight Jared Gordon, his weak areas got highlighted again. Paddy was eating so many hooks in that fight, I felt like I was watching a show on fly fishing. I watched the fight again and I had Gordon taking round 1 and 3, with Paddy doing more in round 2. If you don't agree, fine, but I urge you to watch the fight again. In any case, Paddy got the decision, which is fine. We all know what happens when you leave it to the judges and all that. But it was Paddy's lack of humility after the fight that made fans turn on him.
Paddy, that was a close one.
No, it wasn't. That wasn't close.
Paddy was even trying to make a case for fight of the night.
What, just big people fight to the night or what?
It didn't help that Paddy was also beefing with Ariel Helwani at the time, and he was receiving flack for that. Whether you like Helwani or not is another story. people that have been watching him long enough know how he operates by now. Paddy went on his podcast with the boss man himself, and the two were trashing Helwani.
He's a lizard.
He's one of the slimiest, scummiest mother.
One of the main grievances Paddy had was that Helwani was making money off of fighters, a claim that was later proven to be false since Ariel works for Vox Media and gets a fixed check that doesn't depend on views. The irony here is that Paddy is complaining about fighter exploitation to Dana fucking White. The whole thing was weird and just came off as an ass-kissing session between the two. And I'm not even going to get into this.
Have you consulted me manager and see how much you're paying me for this interview?
Another thing is that Paddy has an anti-bullying charity, you know, to combat bullying, and then goes on to humiliate Jordan Levitt in front of millions of people by teabagging him.
I got that teabagging like Modern Warfare 2.
But I guess it's alright since he supports mental health or whatever. I don't know. Colby Covington told me that charities are just tax write-offs for your business, and Colby wouldn't lie, would he? I was willing to extend an olive branch, but I don't think I can take another celebration with Paddy and the meatball. And after watching some more recent interviews with Paddy, what I found out is that even though Paddy is showing Tony a lot of respect, I don't think he's a changed man. According to Paddy, the backlash he has received is due to him exposing Helwani and not his shitty behavior.
I told everyone about this content creator's true colours and I got a crazy backlash off it, you know what I mean?
And that it's all just fake accounts that are targeting him.
The amount of people what just make fake accounts and comments very horrible, nasty stuff.
This unwillingness to take responsibility just tells me Paddy didn't learn anything. This brings us back to Tony. I hope he turns this into a war. I want to see El Kukui one last time. And whatever happens, win or lose, I want Tony to hang up the gloves after this one. But knowing Tony, I don't think quitting is in his vocabulary. Thanks for tuning in, people. Like, subscribe, comment, and all that shit. Until next time.